boats. They come in all different types and sizes. Sailing boats, rowboats, cruise liners, and even tugboats. But perhaps the most famous ship of all times was the Titanic. Built in 1912, the Titanic took exactly 3 years to construct. Over 3,000 people worked to build this ship, which contained 3 million rivets. And once completed, it was the world's largest passenger ship at the time. But what we probably remember most about the Titanic is that it sank after hitting an iceberg only 4 days after setting sail on her maiden voyage. This ship, that had a state-of-the-art safety design, was described as unsinkable, and yet it sank. In Acts 27, we read of another epic shipwreck story. This time it involved a cargo ship transporting Paul and other prisoners to Rome. But just like the Titanic, things don't quite go as planned. Throughout the entire journey, they were faced with strong winds forcing them off course, and conditions only continued to get more dangerous. But despite Paul warning them that things were only going to get worse, the commander forced them to press on, and they continued sailing. Before long, a massive storm hit, and the sailors became terrified. The wind had a force of a hurricane, and the waves were overpowering. The boat was at risk of being run aground. Supplies and tools were thrown overboard, and all hope had been lost that they would survive. Yet in the midst of peril, Paul seems to be the only one aboard that ship who trusts that everything will be okay. After receiving a vision from an angel, Paul is told that not one life would be destroyed on this ship. He says to the men, "Do not be afraid, have faith in God." Paul has full confidence that God will keep them safe. And although their ship was no match for the wind and the waves, he knew that God was stronger. Paul's obedience to God and trust in him meant that every single life on board that ship was spared that day. Just like Paul, we also will face stormy times in our life, times when we're worried, anxious, scared, or when all hope feels lost. But just like Paul, God wants us to put our full trust in him, knowing that he is bigger, he is stronger, and that our hope can be put in him. God wants us to trust in his goodness and rely on his strength, not our own, to see us through both the calm and rough patches of life.